Hello and welcome to all of my fellow degenerates. Dead by Daylight may be broken to hell and back under the weight of 10,000 different bugs, but hey, the content grind never sleeps, and neither do I. It's probably why I'm tired all the time, come to think of it. Today, I want to talk about some news that quote unquote broke on Twitter recently, that being that apparently Bendy and the Ink Machine is coming to Dead by Daylight. And if that sounds kind of crazy, that's because it is, but we'll get to that in a minute. The important thing to start with is what blew this story up in the first place. Basically, the official Bendy Twitter account was petitioned by an account fittingly named Bendy by Daylight, wherein the user said, @Bendy, since you're replying to some people, please tell us if you're joining Dead by Daylight. Pretty please let our dreams truly come true. And after that, they tagged behavior. Now, it's not uncommon at all for fan accounts to tag their favorite properties to try and see if they'll ever come to DVD. It's a harmless and usually endearing way that people can show love to their favorite licenses, while also spreading some hope for what the future of DVD might bring. Even better, these accounts are sometimes given the good ending that they've been working for, as we've seen with accounts like FNAF for DVD and The Walking Dead by Daylight, where the users got what they were asking for and their properties actually ended up joining the fog. The only reason any of this is even news is because following Bendy by Daylight's tweet, the official Bendy account responded by saying dreams can come true, with the word can being in all caps. Now, on the surface, this looks to be pretty good news. A person would be totally justified in seeing this and saying, oh wow, they're actually bringing Bendy to DVD. But as the grumpy old curmudgeon that I am, I want to pump the brakes on this for just a second. While I don't like to say never when discussing pretty much any license at this point, this one is almost definitely not happening. Or at least it's not happening anytime soon. Let's talk about why. The best place to start is to look at DVD's roadmap for year 10. In it, we see that they have 5 chapters planned for the current year. June and July have obviously already passed, with those being Five Nights at Freddy's and The Walking Dead, respectively. From there, we can also rule out the upcoming September chapter and the one scheduled to release in March, as they have both been marked as being original chapters, which, as an original chapter enjoyer, I always love to see. That means that if Bendy is going to come in year 10, it would have to be the November chapter. To be blunt, I have a lot of issues with that theory. Firstly, there are too many licenses that make more sense than Bendy for that particular slot. I'm a firm believer that where there's smoke, there's fire, and while I know the leaking community loves to mess with us by tossing out red herrings, I feel like there are several other properties with far more smoke around them than Bendy. Jurassic Park/World has been tossed around and seems to be a point of debate for some leakers. The promise of a Conjuring chapter is never too far out of the question, especially with New Line's desire to venture into video games. And you can never rule out popular theories like a third Resident Evil chapter. Heck, we're at a point where Dragon Grandpa has more reason to be rumored than Bendy. The point is, there are plenty of licenses that make good sense for November, but Bendy just isn't one of them. No leakers, to my knowledge, have mentioned Bendy. No notable figures associated with Bendy have seemed to follow the DVD Twitter account. And up until August 7th, nobody had any reason to expect Bendy coming to DVD outside of the usual defense of expect the unexpected. Also, as one last reason I don't see this happening this year, let's look at what the devs have promised us for November. License chapter, 1 killer, 2 survivors. To me, this is more or less something that disqualifies Bendy entirely. Now, again, I have to point out, I'm not overly familiar with the series, but does it have 2 iconic survivors to introduce? Because I'm not sure it does. You can correct me if I'm wrong. The Conjuring has Ed and Lorraine Warren. Resident Evil has plenty of options left on the table. Stranger Things could come back and introduce Hopper, Joyce, or quite a few others. The Jurassic franchise has the original 3 protagonists, it has Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Texas from Jurassic World, and even Scarlett Johansson's character from the new movie. But for Bendy? Yeah, I'm just not sure with that one. I really don't see Bendy coming to DVD in November, but could this tweet be a sign that we should expect a chapter within the next year or two? I'm going to be a killjoy once again and say, no, I don't think so. The wording of the Bendy account's tweet is important. Dreams can come true. Now, I've never played Bendy, so maybe this is a reference to something from the game, and I would imagine it is, but the word can is doing some heavy lifting there. To me, this tweet means one of two things. Either A, they're actively courting DBD, or B, they're simply stating that they're open to a partnership in the future and nothing more. If it's the former option, then they need to get in line. We've already seen franchises like Terrifier throw their hat in the ring, while the rumor is that Disney is pushing for Star Wars, of all things. To put it simply, Bendy would be way back in line compared to a lot of the giants that are still on the board. And let's not act like trying to court attention always works in a game's favor, either. Franchises have to be careful about seeming too eager to get DBD's attention, or else they run the risk of looking like the Hello Neighbor devs trying to get MatPat to make a game theory video on them. If it's the latter, and folks behind Bendy are just saying they're open to it, then this is really not all that shocking. Dead by Daylight is a fantastic way for licenses to re-enter the public eye, and a game like Bendy would obviously love to take advantage of such a boost. I mean, who wouldn't? But would it be a boost for DBD? I really don't think so, and that's pretty much the main purpose of licensed chapters. I know I'll get crucified for this point, and again, enjoy what you enjoy, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's fun, but now that they have FNAF, I really can't see any immediate reason to entertain licenses like Poppy's Playtime or Bendy. That neck of the horror community has been satiated for the time being, and they'd be better off circling back around once they've checked off some other boxes. Ultimately, I feel like the whole situation with Bendy is just a case of being the wrong license at the wrong time. We know Behavior would jump at the chance to add Pennywise or Jason. We know they'd be happy to appease Disney or New Line with a chapter of their choosing. But unfortunately, Bendy just doesn't have that kind of sway at the moment, and they probably never will, just, on account of their size. So no, I don't think this is anything more than a cheeky reply from the developers. I think it is pretty much a giant nothing burger. I could always be wrong, so feel free to put a pin in this video and let me know if I'm wrong a few months from now, but I am pretty confident in my opinion. Ultimately though, this is all speculation, and speculation is just fun for everybody, so let me know down below if you agree, if you disagree. I would be interested in hearing what you have to say. But anyway, this is a shorter one. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this, let you know that I don't think it's happening, but I am interested to know what other people think. And anyway, thank you so much, as always, for watching the video, and until the next one, I've been DustFood. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness.